Okay. Okay. You don't have to take your glasses off.
Should I keep them
No,
on?
you can do whatever you want.
Well, I want it to be continuous.
Yeah, I know.
Go?
Yeah.
Okay. During the war, food was rationed, and we had, my mother would have a book. We, as little kids, we weren't really too much aware of it, but as I look back now, it was a very important thing that happened because you couldn't get sugar. You had to have a ration, a book that said sugar, and you could only have so many tickets for sugar. You could only have so many tickets for meat, and so many tickets for gas. Everything was rationed, so there was very little, but it was according to how many children you had. So they gave us a little bit more than most because we had, let's see, my brother was born in 42 during the war. My other brother was born in 44, and my other brother was born in 45, which the war was almost over. But it was hard for my parents because everything was rationed. And my parents smoked, and they couldn't get cigarettes, but they did have a ticket for cigarettes. And so when my mother was in line to get the meat or the sugar, my mother gave me the ticket to go in the other line to get her a pack of cigarettes, which at that time everybody did smoke, which is awful because both of my parents passed away way too young, and because of the smoking, because of not taking care of their health. I know this doesn't have much to do with growing up in the 40s, so I guess you should take that out.
It's fine.
Is it fine? Okay. Well, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the rationing and the book that they gave my mom and dad. And you didn't get that much meat. My mother would say to the butcher, "Can't I have a little bit more?" He said, "No. You can only get whatever amount that you have in the book, whatever coupons you have."
What about the Victory Garden?
Pardon me?
The Victory Gardens.
Oh, my dad had the most wonderful Victory Garden.
Tell them what it is.
I know
A
it is.
Victory Garden
You can explain it.
is, we lived in a big apartment building in Los Angeles. And we had the upstairs apartment, and looking out the windows, there was this empty lot because all construction had stopped during the war, and they were going to build another building there, but all construction had stopped. So my dad asked permission if he could grow vegetables on the empty lot. And my dad dug it all out himself, and he irrigated it, and he did everything by himself. And I helped occasionally, and my cousins helped occasionally, but we fed the whole block because we had so many vegetables. And of course we ate a lot of vegetables because there was no meat, and it was hard to get meat, but my mom made beautiful meals from vegetables, and they came from the Victory Garden. So that was very, very important during the war. Most everybody did have a Victory Garden, but ours was, it was probably 100 feet by 100 feet, and it was all plowed and irrigated. So it was a very memorable experience.
How old were you during the war?
I was 10. I was 8 when the war started. No, I was 1933, 43. Yeah, I was 8 when the war started, 7 or 8. And when the war was over, I remember when it was over because I was walking home from school. You know the story, walking home 3 miles because nobody would take us to school, so we walked 3 miles to school, which is almost true. And coming home from school, and the newspaper boy on the corner, we had newspaper boys on the corner, and they'd say, "The war is over, the war is over," and he would hold up the newspaper, and I ran all the way home from the corner when I got to the corner, and I ran home to tell my mom and dad, but of course they already knew. And it was wonderful that it was over because it was kind of like you could breathe again. I mean, we were frightened because of the blackouts and because of all the hate. We hated Hitler, we hated Mussolini, we hated Hiroshima.
That's a place. That's where they bombed the.
No, that's where they bombed.
There's Stalin. I don't know.
Anyway,
Stalin, and who
the
else?
Japanese Hirohito. Hirohito. Because it was a song that we sang when we were 8 years old. Do you want me to sing it? I couldn't think of it.
It was Mussolini, wasn't
Mussolini was a whistle while you work. Hitler was a jerk. Mussolini was a meanie, whistle while you work.
What was the
Everybody
Japanese
sang
guy?
that going home from school.
What about the Japanese guy? Where
Oh,
did he fit in?
Hirohito.
He-
I can't remember the part with Hirohito. I think
We
that,
used to sing it as kids.
Mussolini was a meanie, whistle while you work. And that was part of our growing up. I mean, that was the mentality of hate because our country was thought we were going to be bombed. And of course the English people, we saw it on the news every time we went to the movies, how the poor English got bombed every day, and France and Italy, and it was very sad and frightening.
Did they have like bomb drills at school?
Yes.
What'd
Yes.
they do?
Well, they blacked out all the windows. They had shades, blackout shades, and you had to get under your desk, almost like they did probably when you were a kid for earthquake. But this was for bombs, and we thought someday the bomb was really going to come, but it never did. Thank God.
Do you remember the atomic bomb?
Yes, I do remember that, but I only remember seeing a newsreel because there was very little talk about it before it happened, and the only time you really knew is after the fact, after it happened. And yes, it was horrible. We were sad for the people, the innocent Japanese people. But I guess that had to be done. Truman had to do that. Otherwise, who knows what would happen. But it was a frightening time, and yet it was a good time. Before the war, I can remember everything being happy and no fear. And we were very patriotic. We bought stamps. We had a stamp book, bonds. It was called Stamps and Bonds Day. And we'd bring 10 cents, and we'd have a book for stamps. And then when you had enough stamps filled out, then you could buy bonds, which was, I think, $10. But we used to get money for stamps because it was very patriotic and helping the war and helping the soldiers. So